Welcome, everyone, to today's Town of Chatham Zoning Board of Appeals meeting. The date is February 26, 2026. And to start, we have a message from the Governor of the Commonwealth of Massachusetts.
Please note,
She has not been elected governor yet, but I think she's going to be running soon.
please note this meeting is being recorded and will be available shortly hereafter for scheduled and on-demand viewing on any smartphone or tablet device. If anyone else is recording the meeting, including the use of AI note-taking apps, please notify the chair. Pursuant to Governor Healy's March 28, 2025, signing of Chapter 2 of the Acts of 2025, extending certain COVID-19 measures adopted during the state of emergency, suspending certain provisions of the open meeting law until June 30th, 2027, this meeting of the Chatham Zoning Board of Appeals is being conducted in person and via remote participation. Every effort will be made to ensure that the public can adequately access the proceedings as provided for in the order. A reminder that persons who would like to listen to this meeting while in progress may do so by calling the phone number 1-508-945-4410, conference ID 461-765-224, the #, or join the meeting via online Microsoft Teams through the link in the posted agenda. While this is a live broadcast and simulcast on Chatham TV, Xfinity Channel 1072, despite our best efforts, we may not be able to provide real-time access. We will post a record of this meeting on the town's website as soon as possible. In accordance with town policy, the public can speak to any issue, hearing, or business item on the agenda during the meeting when recognized by the chair.
See, you all thought all she has to do is ban driving during blizzards, but she has other jobs too. We need a roll call to approve this form of meeting, starting with Mr. Veach.
Yes, David H. Veach, and I approve this meeting format.
Paul C. Semple, I approve this format.
Randy Potash, I approve the format.
David S. Nixon, I approve.
Virginia Fenwick, I approve.
Stephen D. DeBoer, and I approve.
Okay, thank you. I would ask that any citizens and non-board members participating in the call via the phone, please give us your name and last 4 digits of your phone number just for ID purposes. I think all of you here have been here before, and so I will not go through the procedure from this point on unless someone says, oh, please do that. This has to do with the voting and all the rest of it. Is everybody familiar with it? Okay, very good. Thank you. Randy, do we have any minutes?
Yes, we do, sir. We have a meeting that was held on January 22, 2026. Can I have a motion to, no, I move to approve.
All right, I'll second that motion.
Yes,
Yeah, I actually had one minor edit to that. So on page 10 of the minutes, about halfway down the page, under deliberations, bullet number 3, it says that the members commented that restrictions for short-term rental would not be necessary. And there were a few of us that did not actually agree with that, so we're suggesting that we change it to some of the members commented. So it's minor, but I think it's important.
any other changes? So with that, I move to approve.
Move to approve, I'll second and vote yes.
Okay, Dave?
Dave Veach votes yes.
Randy votes yes.
Janie votes yes.
And I vote yes.
So that's it.
That's it? Okay. All right, Sarah, let's begin with 25-124 today, please. That's 65 Florence Drive.
Application number 25-124, Daryl G. Messier and Deborah J. Messier, care of Thad Eldridge, 1038 Main Street, Chatham, Mass. 02633. Owners of property located at 65 Florence Drive, also shown on the Town of Chatham's Assessor's Map 3B, Block 52, Lot G14. The applicant seeks to enlarge, extend, or change a non-conforming dwelling in a non-conforming lot via the demolition of the existing dwelling and the construction of a new dwelling. The proposed dwelling will comply with all bulk and dimensional requirements of the bylaw, but is considered a substantial alteration under the second accept clause of Section 6 of Mass General Law, Chapter 40A, requires the grant of a special permit. The existing building coverage is 1,154 square feet, 13.2%, and the proposed building coverage is 1,299 square feet, 14.9%, where 15% is the maximum allowed. The lot is non-conforming in that it contains 8,729 square feet, where 20,000 square feet is required in the R20 zoning district. A special permit is required under Mass General Law, Chapter 48, Section 6, and Section 5B of the Protective Bylaw. This was continued from January 8th, 2026.
Good afternoon, Thad.
And good afternoon. For the record, Thad Eldridge, East Southeast. I'm here with the Messiers, along with Peter McDonald, the architect. I'm hoping that everybody is warm from the storm and power outages. We've submitted revised plans that decrease the height by 18 inches. We've also handed out a GIS map that depicts the area and the number of stories that each building has in the area. Unfortunately, our data is from 2018. That's from local sources. We did add the note that the property to the northwest of Locust was approved in '24. A two-story structure is there now. It's also important to know the vacant lot that's next door is listed as unbuildable by the assessor, and it is attached to the lot with a two-story at the corner of Kitty's and Bayview Road. Mr. Messier would like to address the board, and then architect Peter McDonald will be able to review the design. Mrs. Messier? One Messier.
Mr. Messier gets nervous speaking. I'm Deborah Messier, 65 Florence Drive. Daryl.
Daryl Messier, 65 Florence Drive.
We just wanted to, we didn't introduce ourselves the last time. We're very unfamiliar with this process, but we wanted to introduce ourselves. And we purchased the house in 2022 and enjoyed the area and the neighborhood and our neighbors so much that we've decided to retire here. And that's why we're changing the house to make that livable for us. And we appreciate everybody coming here. We know how hard everything has been down here on the Cape. We got the snow, but you guys got the worst of it, definitely. So, thank you.
Thank you.
Well, thank you both for coming.
Want to say something? Do you want to review the design?
Well, sorry. Hi, I'm Peter McDonald. We didn't really change the plan very much, but we brought the height of the house down, as Thad said, 18 inches. The bedroom wing at the end of the house, the ceiling height inside is going to be 7'6", so that also came down, and can't really bring that down much more. That's about it. We changed the pitch from, I think it was a 13 pitch originally, to a 12 pitch, and that's how we got most of that height drop. Thanks.
We reviewed the criteria at the last meeting, and if there are any,
Yeah, I really don't think it's necessary. Were there any other changes you made outside of the height?
the first floor height came down, but that
Yep,
reduced the overall height. That was the major change that was made.
okay, all right. Good.
And if I add, since there's a pause, that brings us down to 27.2 is the building height under our calculation.
Okay. All right, is there anyone here today or on Microsoft Teams who wishes to speak in favor of this application? If so, please indicate you'd like to join the meeting.
They'll read them.
No one online.
So I'll read the correspondence. First is an email. This is from Beth and Clinton Coolidge. Their address is 46 Florence Drive. They write on February 6th. We're writing you on behalf of the house plan. We have seen their plans and are in full support of the design. We feel the home as planned would enhance our neighborhood and would be aesthetically aligned with the surroundings. Then we have an email. This is from Mark and Suzanne Pintal, 57 Florence Drive. They write on February 5th. We're writing on behalf of our neighbors. We reviewed my neighbor's proposed house plans, have no objections to the project. They've been wonderful neighbors since joining the neighborhood, and we fully support their home upgrade that will enhance our neighborhood. And that is the extent of the correspondence. Is there anyone here today or on Microsoft Teams that would like to either speak against this application or has a specific question? Gentleman in the back.
Brian Phillips, 374 Orleans Road. This neighborhood is really beautiful. It represents, the quaintness of Chatham. Looks like the average house height is like 15 feet tall in this neighborhood. This is a very, very, very small lot, and I just think 27 feet is like way too tall. I think it's gonna be looming over the rest of the houses, and it's just, if everyone else built it 27 feet tall in the neighborhood, like, how would this look? And how would you guys like, the neighborhood to look? So that's all I have to say. Too tall, thanks.
Is there anyone else who would like to join the conversation? Thad, do you want to respond to the gentleman's issue, please?
Certainly. So I provided a map that shows the heights or the number of stories in the neighborhood. And we have about half single-story homes and about half 1.5 or 2-story homes. Even the single-story homes, the one next door has a walkout on one side, on the west side of it. Well, yes, there are shorter homes. There are taller homes as well. We have a bylaw that allows people to build 2-story, and we're moving forward with a 1.5 to 1 3/4 story home that we believe will fit in with the neighborhood.
Okay. Thank you. Then we'll have questions from the board. Dave Veach.
I have no questions, Dave.
Paul.
I think the map that you provided is very helpful in terms of giving us the stories that are involved. Do you have any information with respect to the overall square footage of what we're dealing with here versus the other houses on Florence or Kitty's?
Floor area-wise, no. Footprint-wise, I should have provided a vicinity map with the filing that shows our areas. So 1299 proposed, next door is at 1458. We have 1175. There's certainly a mix nearby. We have some 2,000 square foot homes, the high teens. So this is certainly not the largest building in the neighborhood, and not the largest footprint.
Okay, thank you.
Randy.
Welcome, Thad. The question that I have is, if you know, on your chart, 188 Bayview, is that the house with the windmill, if you happen to know? I noticed that there's a house, and I didn't write down the number, but there's a house with a windmill, and it's got several trees.
Yes, that is the house.
That's the house? Okay, no other questions, thank you.
Or silo.
Jenny.
So Thad, I did think the house was too large last time, and I do see that you brought the height down 1.5 feet. I wanted to ask you about, because another comment that I made at the last hearing was it was the mass as well. The house was, large, meets the meets criteria, but I thought the height was too high. And I also was just wondering, because I made the comment about the mass, I was kind of surprised to see that the windows in the dormers, so not just the height was brought down, but I also noticed that the dormers were reduced a little bit, which I think is helpful for the mass. And in fact, like not going all the way to the roof line, but inset in the roof line, which I think visually helps. But in noticing that, I also noticed that a couple of the dormer windows, 2 of them it looks like, went from a 2-window to a 3-window, which I think kind of, goes counter to reducing the look of the mass. Do you have any comments on the window change?
Bring the architect up.
Which ones went from 2 to 3? The ones in the bedroom?
Yeah,
Sorry.
I can, so the north elevation, proposed north elevation, and
Oh.
then the proposed south elevation, so front and back, I think
Yes.
that is? Okay.
Well, because we brought that dormer down, originally those were double-hung windows. And when we brought the dormer down, we had to shrink the double-hung windows, and they did not meet the egress code any longer. So we changed, so they're shorter than they were before, and now they're casement so that they can meet the egress code.
Okay. Okay, I can see that now in the, okay, so that was one question I had. How many bedrooms does the house have today? 2?
2?
And what's
Right.
allowed? 2?
2.
2, okay. Thank you.
Steve?
A couple of questions. And you answered one of them before. I was going to ask you what the ceiling height of the bedroom on the second floor was, and I think you said 7'6".
I think it's, at the low point, it's going to be about 7.4, and it's going to come up a little bit, and then it's going to flatten at 7.6.
What is the ceiling height of the portion of the house that's over the sewing room and office?
That ceiling height, we actually haven't determined, but we have room to make it at least 8 feet.
All right, then why is the ridge on that part of the house so much higher than the ridge over the bedroom?
Well, we brought the bedroom down as much as we could. It's going to have a ridge beam, so there's no room for collar ties. On the bigger part of the house, we can do collar ties, so basically a flat ceiling all the way across. So structurally, it works. The bedroom structure is going to be different than the other structure because the bedroom structure is so low.
It's also
There
not
was-
as deep.
It's also a lot less deep.
The main building is deeper than the bedroom structure.
I understand, but the ridge of the, let's call it the center of the house, is quite a bit higher than the ridge of the bedroom that's on the, I guess, on the left side of the house.
Well, one reason is to another lady's point about the mass. When you break up the roof with, we've got a part in the bedroom, we've got a part in the middle of the house, and a part in the garage. When you break up those masses, it helps the overall mass look better.
Okay. Because I think something could be done with that ridge. I think that was the concern the last time, and it sounds like it could be part of it this time as well, is that that's adding quite a bit to the overall height of the house, and I'm not sure that that's totally necessary. So that's it. Thank you.
Yeah, Dave Veach, you know a lot more about pitches than I do.
Yeah.
Did the change in this pitch bother you at all as far as the aesthetic of the house or how it fits?
Well, I think I commented the last time when it was clear some members had were considered the massing. And I think I commented that at the time that they were showing a 13 pitch, which is a little bit steeper than, I mean, you know, they do exist, but it's a little bit steeper than maybe in a customary Cape-style house. So I was actually pleased to see that they brought it down to a 12, and that's more a customary for what you would see in Chatham as a, you know, it's not an unusual pitch at all. And that they worked to lower the ceiling heights and things, and you know, the description about what, I think they've done quite a bit. I was pleased to see that, but yeah.
So you were satisfied with it?
I'm satisfied. I think, you know, I guess in my eye, seeing that 13 pitch is just a little bit steeper, and it just visually looks, you know, calls out the height a little more. But by bringing it down to a 12, it doesn't really stand out in that way. It doesn't, and, you know, again, I mean, you know, we've got a a maximum height of 30 feet, and now they're at 27 something. That's made some good progress, so I don't think it's unusual.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay, thank you. Okay, Randy?
Yeah, I move to close public hearing and move into deliberations.
I'll second the motion and vote yes.
And Dave Veach votes yes.
Randy votes yes.
Ginny votes yes.
I vote yes. Okay, deliberations. Let's start with, well, actually, Dave, you just got started, didn't you? So,
You want me to go, yeah, I mean, I think, so I mean, I'm hearing maybe some further concerns about massing and all, but I think the architect's questions really addressed it quite well. I mean, you want to have varying roof heights, and really this, this to me doesn't look like a massive structure. I know it's not a large lot, and I know that this neighborhood is varied and mixed, and, you know, we've seen changes there, and we'll probably see more. But I don't see this. This, to me, looks like a pretty normal request. It meets, you know, in terms of heights and meeting the requirements of the bylaw. I'd be hard-pressed to say that this massing is substantially more detrimental in the neighborhood. I think it fits right in.
Paul?
Well, frankly, when I looked at the plans initially, I was surprised that there wasn't more of a change to it. I had sort of expected that there might be. But I do think that the reduction in height is a positive contributor. And you have to realize that we're starting with some very small houses in that area. And in a way, you come down to the question of how much you try to preserve the small houses versus the smaller, versus something which is larger and is more suitable to year-round retirement living. So I'm hard-pressed to say that it's substantially more detrimental to the neighborhood, but I'll be listening to what my colleagues have to say as well.
Randy?
Yeah, so I brought up the fact that there's that windmill house on Bayview, because there's a bunch of trees there, and the way I look at it, those trees do a great job at, you know, making this house really not particularly noticeable from the more main street. So, but what I do want to say is that what I'm really pleased about is, and this is something that I think makes this particular committee stellar, is that through the leadership of our chair and through the open-mindedness of some of our applicants, we are encouraged to think out of the box. And thinking out of the box in this particular scenario is that we don't just look at, you know, could we pass this? Is this substantially detrimental? We'll make comments, and then when we have an applicant such as you and a representative such as Thad in this particular case that is open-minded, you don't push it. And you also don't just have your own needs in the forefront of your mind. You have the neighborhood and the town, and you go back and try to work it out. And I really appreciate when I see that. And sometimes the ask in the beginning is just so big that it's annoying, but this wasn't crazy big. And you have worked through it, and you don't just have your own, you know, your own position at the forefront of your mind. You have the whole mix. I think that the changes that you've made are good. And again, with the screening that you have from the windmill house and all those trees. And if you look at Toby Turtle, there's some larger houses there. Right on the corner of Toby Turtle and I want to say Forest Beach Road, there's a pretty big house, similar to this. You know, so you do have a bunch of little cottages, but then you, also on Kitty's Lane, there's houses similar to this as well. So not only don't I think it's substantially detrimental, but I don't think it's detrimental at all, and I would support it, and I appreciate your changes.
Jenny?
Well, you only made one change, so I don't agree that there are changes. I remember last time saying that the majority from the drive that I took around the neighborhood was 1 and 1.5 story. And I think that this color picture shows that that's the case. 1 and 1.5 story is the majority. Now, there are more 2 stories noted here in the darker, in the purplish color than I recalled seeing. So I'm torn, frankly, because I don't know that you made enough changes. I still think it looks like an outlier in that broader neighborhood, but there are some houses that are similar to that in that neighborhood, and there's change. I appreciate that the homeowners want more space and retiring here, and so I want to be supportive of that, but I'm struggling, as Paul mentioned he was, the lot size is 8,700 square feet. And that is just a small lot, which is what a lot of the homes in the neighborhood are. I'm looking at this grid and assuming that they're similar, many of them. And that's really why the houses are smaller. And this is a departure from that. So I was a little disappointed, which I mentioned, with the only change being the 1.5 foot. But that is a significant, 27, a little over 27 feet in height is modest for a 2-story, and I understand that you want that. But the other thing that concerns me is it's a 2-bedroom home, 8,700 square feet, and there are 2 rooms on the second floor. Now, I know we're not a design committee, we're a zoning committee, but I do question the size of 2 rooms upstairs are really substantial. They're almost as large as the master bedroom. So I don't know, I'm torn, because I understand they want more space, but I just worry that it's, looks like a 4-bedroom home, not a 2-bedroom or a 3-bedroom. Well, 2-bedroom with a study or something, so.
Steve?
I guess when I first looked at this, I was a little concerned, because this is the topography of the land, because this is up on a little bit of a hill compared to its closest neighbors. So I was a little concerned that this was going to make the house appear even bigger than it was. But you did a good job of staying within all of the dimensions of the property, the setbacks, and even the height. You dropped the heights a fair amount. I'm just a little concerned that it's going to look very big just because it is up on a little bit of a hill, but you're within all of the dimensions, so it's kind of difficult to argue with that. You better be careful because you're right up at 14.9, so don't go over on any of those corner boards. But, you know, I'm a little bit torn, but I think that's sort of the direction that the neighborhood is moving in, so I think I would support it.
Yeah, from my point of view, I was very pleased with the height reduction. The house, to me, is still too big for the lot, but as Steve just pointed out, from a zoning perspective, it fits. And so we come down to the question, is it substantially more detrimental to the neighborhood than what is there now? No, it would not be. It might very well be detrimental, but certainly not substantially more detrimental. Randy?
So I move to approve the application as presented with the usual conditions. Want me to read them?
Please,
Okay?
please.
All construction activity and vehicles should be contained on site or at a neighboring property with the permission of the property owner. Between June 30 and Labor Day, no exterior construction will be allowed, no work should be permitted on the weekends, construction activity between 8 and 5 p.m. only. Paul, second?
I'll second the motion.
Vote?
I will vote, in light of the fact that the house is now going to be at the 27-foot range, and it could be up to 30, I would reluctantly approve.
Dave?
Yes, and Dave H. approves.
Randy approves.
Jenny?
Ginny votes no.
And I vote yes. So that you are successful, 4-1.
Thank you much.
Thank you.
Hope everyone stays warm.
Thank you.
Power will come back.
We'll come over your house if we need it.
Great.
Okay, Sarah, we have 25-126, please.
Application number 25-126, Elizabeth by care of William F. Riley Esquire, P.O. Box 707, Chatham, Mass. 02633, owner of property located at 60 Howes Lane, also shown on the Town of Chatham's Assessor's Map 7B, Block 52, Lot S25. The applicant seeks to enlarge, extend, or change a nonconforming dwelling in a nonconforming lot via the demolition of the existing dwelling and the construction of a new dwelling. The existing dwelling is nonconforming, and that it is located 13.2 feet from the northeasterly abutter where a 15-foot setback is required. The proposed dwelling will comply with road and abutter setback requirements. The existing building coverage is 1,459 square feet, 15.5%, and the proposed building coverage is 1,861 square feet, 19.8%, where 15% is the maximum allowed.
Thank you.
The lot is non-conforming, and that it contains 9,418 square feet, where 20,000 square feet is required in the R20 zoning district. A special permit is required under Mass General Law, Chapter 40A, Section 6, and Section 5B of the protective bylaw. This was continued from January 22nd, 2026 for re-advertising.
Okay.
Good afternoon, Bill Riley on behalf of Jim and Elizabeth DiBiase. The DiBiases, not surprisingly, had their flight canceled, so they couldn't be here, but they are here virtually, and they'd like to address the board.
Good afternoon, guys. Again, sorry we couldn't be here, that Mother Nature had the final say in that, but just wanted to introduce ourselves, Jim and Libby DiBiase. Wanted to talk a little bit about the history of the house. The house has been in the family since 1977, when Libby's mom and dad, Keith and Louise Eaton, purchased it. We've owned it since Louise passed about 10 years ago. Keith worked for many years in town as a realtor after he retired from his primary profession. Louise, after retiring from her job as a middle school science teacher, was very, very active at St. Christopher's over the years. Libby worked at the Christopher Ryder House summers while she was in college. After she graduated in 1982, she lived in Chatham for a few years and worked at Merrill Lynch in Hyannis. She and I were married in Chatham in 1985, so we've spent a lot of time at this house. We have two great children who love Chatham. We recently had our first grandchild, so our goal is to create a home that future generations of our family can enjoy for many years to come. And happy to answer any questions about who we are, but that's just a little background about us.
Thank you, Jim. So the architect of the house is Lauren O'Neill. Lauren is also online, I believe.
Yeah, I'm on the phone actually because I couldn't log in with Teams. I apologize.
Okay, all right. So, Lauren, would you explain the process you went through with Jim and Elizabeth to have this design?
Sure. Yeah, sure, no problem. Hi, everyone. My name is Lauren O'Neill. I'm the architect for 60 Howes Lane. I've been working with Jim and Libby for a while now, closely to design what I think, we've done the job of designing a classic shingle-style cottage that fits in nicely with the neighborhood and coastal Chatham. We paid much attention to scale and detail to stay true to the true Cape shingle style. I'm from the Cape, actually, and I've been designing homes in the Cape and the islands for about 30 years. And so the original house had a gazebo. We replaced, or the new design has a gazebo in the southeast corner, which captures the water views. The original house, the gazebo was kind of a favorite room, so we captured that in the new design. I think the house, has a modest common living area with just kitchen, dining, and living, open floor plan. And the home is placed well within the setbacks and the height requirement. The abutting neighbors have given letters, saying that they're fine with the design, they're fine with the size. So there's no real complaints about that. I think that we've really done the job of, creating a classic shingle style that fits in with the neighborhood and fits in with Chatham. So.
All right, thank you very much. Thank you very much, Lauren. If you have any questions for Lauren, she's available to answer them. So the so this is a property that currently exceeds 15%. It's a small lot, 9,400 square feet. And so one question when this came to me was, is this property or this building compatible with neighboring properties? And the review of the other homes on Howes Lane shows that there are 3 other homes in close proximity to the DiBiase property that also exceed 15%. There's David Lyko's house at 30 Howes is 15.9%. Sanok at 40 Howes Lane is 18%. The house immediately next door to the left, as you look at the house from the street, is 23% building coverage. And that was approved by this august body back in 2016. The current DiBiase home also exceeds 15%, it's 15.5%. And one of the elements here that I think, because the lot is small, 9,400 square feet, more or less, that means 1% of building coverage is 94 square feet. So we're increasing the building coverage by 4%, 367 square feet. So this is not, although the coverage number is tough, as I say, that given the neighboring properties, it's pretty much compatible with the neighboring properties. And there are other homes in the neighborhood that are not right on Howes Lane. I just thought I'd have some examples for you. Not in terms of building coverage, but in terms of size. So the property at 48 Nickerson Lane is 4,600 square feet. The property at 34 Nickerson Lane is 3,900 square feet. 24 Nickerson Lane is 4,700 square feet. 12 Nickerson Lane is 4,500 square feet. 67 Cabot Lane, 5,140 square feet. 70 Cabot Lane is 4,600 square feet. 25 Cabot Lane is 5,000 square feet. If you know the neighborhood, Cabot Lane is sort of the middle road. So you have Howes Lane is the upper road, Cabot Lane is the middle road, and then Billings is the one closest to the beach. And then 17 Cabot Lane is 6,745 square feet. So in terms of compatibility, our house, gross floor area of 4,364 square feet, is really very much compatible with neighboring properties. So I think, although, if you focus solely on the percentage of lot coverage, you can say, well, it seems large, but it's compatible with the homes around it, and the home itself at 4,300 square feet is very much compatible with the neighborhood as a whole. Again, this is an old subdivision.
Can I just interrupt for a second, Bill? I think we're a lot less than 4,300, actually.
Yeah, we are.
Well, wait a minute. Lauren and I agree that it's 4,300 square feet, because you have to include the basement. So, just,
Oh, you have to include the basement.
You have to include the basement.
Yep.
Anyway, so, but I'm glad you're paying attention, Jim. All right, so,
I haven't seen that number before, so it just jumped out at me.
it's all right. So I'll run through the criteria. Adequacy of the size of the site, including but not limited to maximum lot or building coverage. Clearly, we exceed maximum, the 15%, but I think, again, it's compatible with neighboring properties. We do meet the setbacks, both street setback and sideline setbacks. Compatibility of the size of the proposed structure with neighboring properties. Our house is compatible with neighboring properties, some of which exceed the 15% number. As I indicated, the home at 66 House Lane, which is immediately adjacent to us, is 23% lot coverage. 40 House Lane is 18, 30 House Lane is 16, and there are other large homes in the neighborhood. So we believe that our proposal is compatible with the neighborhood. The extent of the proposed increase in nonconforming nature. Principally, the increase in nonconforming nature is the increase in the living area in the home. Which, under the Bransford case, constitutes an intensification because the lot is smaller than the required 20,000 square feet. It's a situation you see very frequently. Suitability of the site, including but not limited to impact on neighboring properties or on the natural environment, including slopes, vegetation, wetlands, groundwater, water bodies, and stormwater runoff. Here, the house slopes from back to front towards the road, but the slope is quite gentle. As I note, the site plan shows the ground elevation at the rear of the home is 37.6 feet above sea level, and the road in front of the house is 34. So we're only talking about a 3-foot change from front to back, certainly not a steep slope. There are no wetlands or sensitive vegetation, no impact on the groundwater or any water bodies. Impact of scale, siting, and mass on neighborhood visual character, including views, vistas, and streetscapes. So like most of the properties in this neighborhood, the view of Nantucket Sound seems to be pretty much paramount importance. And as you look at the homes in the neighborhood, as I'm sure you have, most of them have a second story that enables them to focus on that view. So that, as Lauren indicated, she's come up with a shingle design that she thinks fits in. There are houses in the neighborhood that have gambrel type aspects to the building, and there are others that are standard Cape design. But the design itself, I believe, fits into the neighborhood. We do meet the setback from the street. We don't impact the views of any of the neighboring properties, and the applicants believe it's an improvement to the streetscape. They also believe, and I hope you agree, that this proposed structure is not substantially more detrimental to the neighborhood than the existing structure. The compatibility of the proposed use, single-family home in a single-family neighborhood, method of sewage disposal is on-site septic system, and the water system is on the public water system. There be no impact on traffic flow and safety, no change in noise or litter, and the utilities and other public services are adequate. So that would be our presentation. Thank you.
Is there anyone here today or on Microsoft Teams who would like to speak in favor of this application? If so, please indicate you'd like to join the discussion. Don't see anyone, so I'll read the correspondence. First, this is a note from Judith Giorgio, health agent for the town of Chatham. She writes, on February 26th, I have no concerns regarding this project. The property has an active septic permit for a new 4-bedroom dwelling. Then we have a note, this is from Ethan Arnold. It's dated February 25th. My wife Helen and I live at 48 House Lane and want to voice our support for the plans to take down the current house and build a new one. There have been many homeowners over the years who have taken their homes down in our neighborhood and built new ones, including ourselves back in 2014. While we have not seen the plans for the new house that the DeWassis plan to build, we are confident that it will be consistent with the architecture to the community. We appreciate that the ZBA is taking the time to review the plans. We realize that the lot is non-conforming, as is ours, and that the new home will comply with road and abutter setback requirements. Then we have a note from Robert Mahoney, 57 House Lane, February 23rd. I'm writing into support of this application. They have submitted to demolish and rebuild their home. My wife, Joanne Mahoney, and I fully support this project, which will have no negative consequences for our neighborhood. We urge the board to approve the special permit. That is the extent of the correspondence. Is there anyone here today or on Microsoft Teams that would like to speak either against this or has a specific question? The gentleman in the back.
Brian Phillips, 374 Orleans Road. How tall is the building?
It's 29.6.
Yeah, it's on the site plan, yeah.
So it's tough to speak out against this project because the house right next to it is grotesquely large. I mean, it just seems like it's a little bit too tall, maybe the 27-foot mark, for the neighborhood, because it's not completely lost yet, but I do support the majority of this project. Thank you.
Is there anyone else who would like to join the conversation? Mr. Riley, did you want to respond to that gentleman's statement?
Well, I think I'd like to hear the comments from the zoning board. This is a generational home, and the DiBiase's plan for it to continue on for more generations. And so having a little breathing space when you have multi-generations sharing a home, I think is a good idea. And there are many homes there that are close to or at the 30-foot limit. And so I think this, again, as I say, I think this house is compatible with the neighboring properties, although I do have to agree with Mr. Phillips that the house next door is not winning any beauty pageants. But, and it's 23% of lot coverage too. So anyway, I beg your pardon?
Please,
lot
no
is the same
interruptions,
size,
please,
too.
please, no interruptions. Mr.
I'm
Riley?
sorry.
Yeah. So anyway, I think the house fits in the neighborhood and would ask you to approve it because I think it's clear that it's not substantially more detrimental to the neighborhood than the existing house.
Thank you, Mr. Riley. Okay, questions from the board. We'll start with Randy.
So I understand that the height that you want to make is, that you want to build is 29.6. What is the height of the existing house? I didn't notice that in any of the paperwork. I
it's on it.
apologize if it's in front of my
It's all right,
face.
it's on the site plan,
It is?
if I can find the site plan.
I have the site plan right here and I don't see it.
So
If
the
you do a math
existing,
problem, that's not going to work.
all right, the existing ridge height is 57.1. I have to find it. The proposed ridge height is 65.7. So it's going up 8 feet.
How many feet?
8,
Eight,
more or less.
8 feet.
Yes.
Okay, just want to make sure I heard you right. No other questions, thank you.
Jenny?
I don't have any questions.
Steve?
I don't think I have any questions either.
Dave? Questions?
No questions, Dave. Thanks.
Paul?
No questions.
All right,
So assuming that the chair doesn't have any questions?
that's correct.
I will move to close the public hearing and move into deliberations.
I will second the motion and vote yes.
Your vote,
Beach votes
Dave?
yes.
Yep,
And Randy votes yes?
Any votes yes?
and I vote yes. So, deliberations, let's start with Steve.
Well, I think it's a fine design. The thing that I'm struggling with most is that it's already slightly over the square footage limit, and it's going to 28% higher than what it is now, which is substantial, and it's actually 31% higher over the 15,000, or the 15% coverage.
I'm sorry, could you just, I'm baffled. Can you just explain those numbers to me, please?
Well, yes, 1,861 is 31% higher than 15,000, of the 15% coverage.
Okay.
So it's,
Right, thank you.
it's the 15% plus 31% gives you the 1,800. Other than that, again, it's within the setbacks, it's within, the street setbacks and the sideline setbacks. I think it is a little tall, but if you compare it to some of the other things in the neighborhood, maybe it's not. I think the mass of it is a little too high, and I think something could be done to bring that down a little bit. That's it.
Dave Each.
Well, it looks, I like the design. I mean, I think it's an attractive building. And I think it fits with many of the other redos that have been done in the neighborhood. This is another one of those neighborhoods that's been in transition for quite a while and is probably going to continue to be. And there's, just like on the last one, there's a pretty significant contrast between some of the original homes that were there and some of the ones that, in this proposal, and many of the ones that have been done already on maybe not necessarily on this street as much as, although the right down the street is one that's very similar. I don't know why I'm getting feedback, but, again, I think that, it is under the height, 6 inches under the height, but, the height is the height, it's 30 feet, it's 30 feet. So I don't really think, again, this doesn't, to me, it's a good-looking building, I think it will fit into the neighborhood, so I can't see it as being substantially detrimental, and so I can support it. Thanks.
Paul?
Well, we keep getting these houses that max out the height and the overall massiveness of the house on the size of the lot is bothering. The difference is that in this neighborhood, there are a lot of houses that have been going up that are substantial, and the lot sizes are not substantially different from each other, but I do have some concern about the increased lot coverage and the overall impact of the house. So once again, I will listen to what my colleagues have to say, but I do have some concerns about whether this is just more than it needs to be at this location.
Randy?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So I agree with everything Paul just said, and I just want to point out that we are encouraged, not just encouraged, we're implored by the zoning rules to reduce or minimize existing adverse impacts on neighboring properties or natural resources. So we're certainly not reducing or minimizing the fact that this is already over the coverage, if we just stand by and allow for that. So you want to go over the over on a small lot and put a huge house up. 64 square feet is a very big house, and it looks like on your first application, you were thinking about asking to go up to 18.5%, and then you revised it, and now you want to go up on the coverage to 19.8, when 15 is the amount by the rules, and you're already over. So if you wanted to come back with something that was just at the same coverage that you were at now, I think that that would be more conducive to the criteria that I am just looking for. And I just want to point out the criteria that I have a problem with. I know number one, the adequacy of the size of the site in terms of size for the proposed use. Obviously, the site is not adequate for this size because it's already over in the first place, and now you want to go even more. So it can't possibly compute to be an adequate size for this house. So I think it follows that it's not suitable. And the impact on neighborhood visual character, number 4, would be substantially detrimental in my point of view. So I would not support it.
Jenny?
So I too think that it's a neighborhood in transition, not unlike the property that we just were talking about before this one, the neighborhood that is, but this one's more established. It has more homes that are larger over time, and they're pretty substantial. So I don't really have a problem with the proposed size, but I do have a problem with the building coverage. It's substantially more than, it's already over and it's going over. In fact, when it was initially being continued, I thought, oh, okay, I think they realized the building coverage ask is too much, and I thought it'd be coming back reduced somewhere in the middle. And to see it go even higher, I think that that's, not something that I could support either. So for me, it's criteria 1, adequacy of the size of the site. It's a small lot, 9,500 square feet. And also number 3, which is the extent of the increase in the nonconformity. But I think it's a very attractive design if it could just be brought down. There are neighbors on all 3 sides, and they're close. You are meeting the setbacks, but they're close. And I just think it's a little too large for that site. But it's a beautiful project.
Well, from my perspective, the increase up to 19.8 is just way too much. You talk about 1% is this and that, okay. But this is a lot. And it's roughly 30% of an increase on something that is already over what is allowed. I don't like the fact of the infringement of the setbacks to the existing houses on the left and right. For instance, the one on the right currently is 33 feet. Well, now it would be 22 feet. That's just, forcing yourself on a neighbor, whether they like it or not. This is just wrong to me. On the
Well,
other
the
side-
setback's only 15 feet.
Please, Mr. Riley, I'm speaking. Do not interrupt.
Okay.
Thank you.
Sorry, Dave.
So, and the one on the left, again, it's, let's see, 16.7 feet away. I mean, I don't see how we can allow something that is already over the limit to be increased by 30%, that is going to be detrimental to the neighbors, just by making it closer. The noise is closer, everything is closer. So I don't see how I could support this at all. Would you
Well, we-
like to call for,
Yeah, well, we thought that considering how ugly the house was next door, that you guys would focus on that instead of this, so,
guess we didn't.
yeah.
So-
So obviously, we have to do a redesign, so we're like, 2 months.
Is it possible for me to speak?
No, sir.
No, sir.
Oh.
Sarah?
How quickly will the architect be able to get revised plans?
That's what I say, I think 2 months would be necessary.
So,
Our neighbors and not us.
we have meetings on April 9th and April 26th. I would need the plans at least 1 week in advance of that. So, whatever works. Or you're out to May 28th because we only have one meeting in May.
April 26th, that'd be good,
23rd?
23rd.
I move to continue this case until April 23rd, 2026.
I'll second the motion and vote yes.
Dave Vitros, yes.
Randy votes yes.
Jeannie votes yes.
And I vote yes.
Thank you very much.
23rd it is. All right, Sarah. 26-007. 007, wow, all right.
Application number 26-007, the James A. Doyle Revocable Trust of 2022, care of MJ Nardone Building and Remodeling, 299 White's Path, South Yarmouth, Mass. 02664. Owner of property located at 135 Lime Hill Road, also shown on the Town of Chatham's Assessor's Map 12E, Block 18, Lot B1. The applicant proposes to install an exterior mechanical system appliance generator 37.1 feet from the road where a 40-foot setback is required. The property contains 14,070 square feet in the R40 zoning district. A special permit is required under Mass General Law, Chapter 40A, Section 9, and Section 8D2B of the Protective Bylaw.
Okay, do we have anyone? Oh,
Yes.
online, all right.
Good afternoon. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, please introduce yourself.
My name is Brandon Fosher. I am the project manager at MJ Nardone. I am here with James Nolan. He is my mechanical manager. And we are asking for a special permit at 135 Lime Hill to install a generator.
Could we ask you to take off your hat, please? We have a problem with folks wearing hats on the TV. Thank you very much. Handsome guy like you should be, okay, there we go.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Okay, so perhaps you'll explain to us why you need to have it where you want to put it.
So as you see in the far right corner of the front of the house, there is 2 existing AC units. And on that side of the house, it's where all the mechanicals come in, gas and power. It's really the only area where we can get close to the setback.
I think also too, something to note is the generator is currently installed. And, we were notified, that we needed that special permit when we filed that exterior mechanical permit. But it's a very small generator. It's a 12 kW Kohler generator. The only reason that the homeowner is having it installed is they did hook up the sewer, and because of the elevation, I believe there's a pump was installed.
Right, a pump was installed.
So in order, during a power outage for the homeowner to use his residence, he, has to have power to that pump. So that was the primary reason that, the owner requested that a generator be installed. The other, issue that we had was just general location, especially with, keeping within setbacks of being a corner lot, with those extended setbacks required, and also with the gas code and being 10 feet from any operable windows or intakes or all those kind of restrictions that come along with it as well.
Okay. Okay, would that be your presentation?
That is.
All right. There's no correspondence, so I can't read anything. But I can ask, is there anybody here like to speak in favor of this application? Is there anyone here or in Microsoft Teams that would like to speak against this application or has a specific question? All right, questions from the board. Paul?
Well, as I understand it, it's been installed. At this point, we've had no correspondence from neighbors. It looks to me as if it's pretty close to where we would need for a required setback and a logical location, given the AC units that are there. So I don't think it would be substantially detrimental to the neighborhood to allow this to go forward.
Randy?
I don't have any questions either.
Kenny?
No questions.
No questions.
Dave?
Why does anybody think a generator is important? I think we've had a pretty good demonstration of that recently, thanks. No, I have no questions.
Wouldn't you like to talk to the neighbors today, see how it turned out, huh? Okay, so you don't have any questions? Mhm. All right.
So I move to close public hearing and move into deliberations.
I will second the motion and vote yes.
And Dave Veach votes yes.
Yeah, I vote yes.
Ginny votes yes.
I vote yes. All right. Deliberations. Who wants to start?
I think I already did.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, you did, Paul. All right, all right. So Randy?
No, I agree with Paul, and I don't think we need any conditions on this. And I think that it meets all the criteria, and it certainly is not substantially detrimental to the neighborhood.
Yeah, I agree. You're less than 3 feet short of what you need, and it's because it's in the front where you have a longer stretch that you have to meet. If it was on the sides, which you don't have the room on that one side. And it makes sense to bundle it with the other mechanicals, and we definitely understand the importance of generators, so I would support it.
Well, it's nice having a life-size mock-up of what the finished product is going to look like. You may want to just consider some screening or something, but I think it makes sense of where it is. Well, all the other mechanicals are there, and it's done. So,
Dave?
Yeah, I've had some experience with locating generators, a couple of them, and it is true. I mean, there are certain location depending on where the gas line is and where that only makes sense. And this, I think, is one of them. And I'm grateful that I think prior to the most recent town meeting, the change that was made allowed this to come by special permit, because prior to that, it would have required a variance. So I'm grateful for that change in the bylaw, and I want to call that out. So no, we now can see perfectly the need for a generator and why we need these things, and a location like that is a very good one, actually.
So I'd like to ask our building commissar if he feels maybe there was a better spot than this?
No, I think this makes sense, and even without that previous town meeting approval of the bylaw, the existing AC unit doesn't meet the setback, so they could have gone for a special permit there anyway. So I think it makes sense where they have it.
So I move to approve the application as submitted.
I'll second the motion and vote yes.
Dave Veach votes yes.
Randy votes yes.
Ginny votes yes.
I vote yes. Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you very much.
All right, Sarah, I think we're down to 26-008.
Application number 26-008, Christopher and Ida Licata, care of Jude DeLecandro, 90 Hopedale Street, Hopedale, Mass. 01747. Owners of property located at 58 Diane Drive, also shown on the Town of Chatham's Assessor's Map 6C, Block 77, Lot G113. The applicant proposes to install an exterior mechanical system appliance heat pump within the Coastal Conservancy District where a 50-foot setback is required. The lot contains 20,040 square feet of land area and 0 square feet of buildable upland in the R20 zoning district. A special permit is required under Mass General Law, Chapter 48, Section 9, and Section 8D2B of the Protective Bylaw.
Please introduce yourself.
Jude DeLecandro. I'm just trying to install a heat pump condenser so his upper level can have some heat. And I know it's in a flood zone, so I was going to keep it 3 feet above the ground, as I'm pretty sure the code is. And I don't think it's within any setbacks. It's going to be mounted on the back of the house, so shouldn't affect anybody.
Okay. Is there anyone here today or on Microsoft Teams that would like to speak in favor of this application? Don't see anyone, so I'll read the correspondence. We have one note. This is from Lori and Jason Fromer. They're at 22 Diane Drive. February 13th, they write, we're writing to express our support. Who wish to install a heat pump. They're adding value to their home with all their improvements, and this additional improvement request is no exception. We hope the ZBA will approve the request. That's the extent of the correspondence. Is there anyone here today or on Microsoft Teams that wishes to speak either against this or has a specific question? If so, please indicate you'd like to join the conversation. Seeing none, does anybody have a question?
I have a quick question that maybe the building commissioner can answer. I look at the site plan and I don't actually see the heat pump condenser shown on the plan other than a note on the corner of it which says heat pump condenser, but I don't see that in the site plan.
Good eyes, Paul. It's not shown on the plan. It's shown on the assessor's map that's stapled to the plan on the back of the house. I've seen a photograph of the unit on the back of the building, I believe.
And so we know where it's at, and
It is attached to the back of the
all done
building. Yeah,
okay.
and it is off the ground. They're in a floodplain, and they don't meet the setback.
All right, I have no other questions.
Randy?
I don't have any questions.
No, I don't.
I moved to
We moved on.
close public hearing and move into deliberations.
I'll second the motion and vote yes.
Dave Vitro, yes.
Randy votes yes.
Ginny votes yes.
I vote yes. Okay. Paul, what do you think of this?
I think we're presented with another situation where we don't have too much choice and where it makes sense, so I think it makes sense that we go forward with it. I think it'll meet the criteria, which is it will not be detrimental to the established or future character of the neighborhood and the town, and it's in harmony with the general purpose and intent of the bylaw.
Well, I agree with Paul, and I don't think they have any choice there. It's the whole area is within the Coastal Conservancy District. So, sure, I support it.
I agree with Paul and Randy.
I agree as well.
Oh, so I move to approve the application as submitted. I don't think we need any conditions that I know of.
Paul
So
seconds the motion and votes yes.
Dave Vitro, yes.
Randy votes yes.
Ginny votes yes.
I vote yes. That's unanimous. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it, board. Take care.
I don't think there's any other business to come before the meeting today, so Randy?
I move to adjourn.
All votes yes.
Second.
everyone needs to vote?
I second that and vote yes.
And Dave Vitro, yes.
And
Randy Randy votes yes?
Ginny votes yes.
Steve votes yes.
And I vote yes, and the official time, Sarah, is?
5:16 PM.
All right,
All right, good night,
very
Chad.
good. Thank you.